Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Zowie GSR 2 and all my thoughts and opinions about this mousepad. This mousepad was sent by Zowie, but that does not at all affect my thoughts or opinions of this mousepad at all. This will all be my raw, true thoughts. And I would like to mention that I did recently hit 1K on YouTube. I like to thank everybody. It's like such a massive milestone to hit 1K this fast. For me, I didn't expect to hit 1K at all. But it's such a big milestone for me. I will be doing a giveaway sooner than later. I'm not sure what it'll be on. It'll probably be a mouse or a mouse pad or maybe a keyboard. I'm not too sure what I'll be giving away yet, but I will be doing a giveaway very, very, very soon. So let's get started. So first I want to talk about just the mouse pad as it is. This is the Zowie GSR 2. It is 470 by 390, so it's a little bit smaller than traditional sizing mouse pads, which is all 490 by 420 nowadays. They're all relatively around the same size. This is a tiny bit smaller, which might be an issue for some people who play a very, very, very low sense. Like if you're playing like 70, 80, 90 cm, that might be an issue when it comes to your horizontal flicks because you're going to be falling off the mouse pad a bit. But for someone like me, I play 44 cm, that lowish but not too low sensitivity. The 47 wide never really it never messed with me, and I'm not playing a lot of tracking heavy games where the 39 centimeters up causing any issues, and if I do, I just kind of raise the mouse pad up a bit. Next, I want to talk about just like the basic boring stuff. This is using a high density rubber foam. I never had it move with me in game, but if you are a mouse and keyboard user in OSU and you're doing those spinny things, you can see the mouse pad start to spin when you're doing a lot of circular movement. So that's something that I do have to note, is that as good as rubber is, it will never stick as well as Poron. And you will always have those little bit of movements in the mouse pad, especially, like I said, if you're playing a lower sensitivity, or even if you're doing a lot of vertical movements here, you can see the mouse pad move side to side quite a bit. Now I want to get onto the stitching. The stitching is very nice. It's actually surface level, which I think they did improve it by a little bit. It does seem much nicer stitching compared to my original GSR 1, which is around 3 years old. But it just feels like a really nice, well-made mouse pad. Like when it comes to the stitching, when it comes to the surface texture, it is that standard smooth texture, smooth control texture, and it is very slow. So when it comes to the speed of the mouse pad, the GSR is known for being a very like muddy control mouse pad, and for me, I get that experience now, but not even like a week ago, my GSR just felt significantly quicker than what it is now. So I'm not sure if there's a break-in period, but I've been using the mouse pad consistently for like the last 2 weeks now. Just this was like my main mouse pad outside of my other mouse pad reviews. And this is just, it's such a unique glide experience because there's really nothing else that I can imagine right now that's like it, unless you're getting like a more expensive mouse pad like the EMC, the OG Saturn Pro, or the more like higher end control options. For the price of this mouse pad, I really don't see there being anything as slow as it and as consistent. Like I said, it does feel like there's like an initial breakdown period where it felt a lot quicker when I first got it, but now that I've used it for around 2 to 3 weeks straight, it feels to be much slower, much muddier, and just a lot slower than I normally anticipated when I first got the mouse pad. When I first got it, I compared it to the Artisan Zero Soft, or I compared it to my new 4mm 2023 Saturn Pro, but it's not even like that anymore. It's just so much slower. Now I want to get onto some quick comparisons before we get this video ended. First, I want to start with the original Zowie GSR. This is the one I've had for quite some time now. This is the first esports focused mousepad I ever purchased, this exact one. I purchased this after watching a Boardsy video about mousepad recommendations, and I bought everything in the C tier for some unknown reason. I think because it was like relatively cheap, and at the time I was playing a lot of Valorant. I was like a hard stuck silver player, thinking that the most control would give me an edge because blah 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 blah. But I bought this mousepad around 3 years ago. Actually, I'd say closer to like 2 years ago. Late 2021 is when I bought the mousepad. And my original GSR is just so muddy. Like I said, this is really, really old, so it's hard to compare. But I can note some quality of life things that I can note about the mousepad. That it does seem to be using the same-ish rubber base. Mine looks a lot more worn down than the new one, so I can say that it's around the same rubber base. I don't know what they did to the surface texture, because my original GSR just feels smoother, but it's still relatively smooth with the new GSR. The stitching is also still relatively low, but it actually feels like it's a millimeter above the surface compared to the new GSR, where it's around exactly surface level, where I don't feel any bump at all. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. The dynamic glide of the original GSR is not going to be that important because my GSR is incredibly old. So this is going to be way slower as it's been worn down a lot compared to the new GSR, which is still relatively slow, but it's just not really fair to compare these. So I'm going to compare it to something a lot more modern, like my new Saturn Pro. So here is a 2022 Saturn Pro. This is the one that I bought last year around June. I've dumped about 1,000+ hours into this mouse pad. And it is, I would say this is probably the closest I'll get to the GSR 2 in terms of speed. It feels almost identical to my well-worn Saturn Pro. So like I said in my last mousepad review, that if you're coming from the Saturn Pro, this is what to expect. You're pretty much getting the exact same mousepad, except the Saturn Pro 2022. I would say the only benefit you're getting is this really nice pour-on base. Other than that, they are relatively similar in speed. Unlike my Quasar Perseus, the Perseus feels like a brand new 2022 Saturn Pro. So this isn't really a fair comparison because it just feels much quicker than my OG Saturn Pro, where the dynamic glide is so much slower because of how many hours I've dumped onto this one mouse pad. And the last one I want to use is the InfinityMice Control. Control, this is the V1, the original one. They did just release a V2 with a different surface texture. I haven't got it yet, and I'm not sure if I'm even getting a copy sent. But as of right now, I'm not getting a copy sent. This is all I have from InfinityMice, and I would say that this is another really good comparison to the GSR, where the dynamic glide is just incredibly slow and sluggish. So I would say if you're looking at picking up the GSR 2, just know that it compares similarly to performance options like the InfinityMice Control, which uses a custom IPU base, and the Saturn Pro or Quasar Perseus Premium, where they all have that really nice custom or even standard pour-on surface, and they're all really high quality mouse pads. They would be similar in speed to the GSR 2, but what I can note is that the GSR 2 does have that break-in period where it did feel a little bit quicker, and then after consistent use, it did slow down a bit, but once it got down to that speed where it felt like the mouse pad that it's known for, the muddy GSR feeling, there was no issues. So I want to end this video off by saying that if you're looking at getting the GSR 2, just note that you're getting a very slow, controlled, muddy experience. What I can note is that it did fix that humidity issue. Like if you had a tear in your eye at one point, sometime 5 years ago, that mouse pad would pick up the humidity from that. So I can say that this 100% fixed that issue where I didn't have any humidity issues or consistency issues. But that initial slowdown period is something I do have to like. It took like 2 or 3 weeks to get to the point where it is now. It just felt so much faster a while back. And I've been getting a lot of questions about my GSR 2 and why it's so fast. So yeah, that should be everything. If you do have any questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment. Leave a like on the video if you want to see more mousepad reviews. I will be doing a crap ton more. I have so many products to get through. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more like this. Like I said, thank you so much for 1K. I will be doing a giveaway very soon. Not sure on what yet, but I will see you guys in the next one.
I'll be poppin'. Sparkles and jam. VIP my section, royalty looking sexy, you know that be my name. I'm tired of that.